Ukrainian Defense Forces have eliminated Colonel Lebedev, according to a report by the Operational Strategic Grouping of Troops Khortytsia, the Russian commander of the 83rd Motorized Rifle Regiment of the 69th Motorized Rifle Division, was reportedly leading assault operations in the Velykyi Burluk direction in the Kharkiv region. It is worth noting that the situation east of Vovchansk has recently escalated. Russian forces have attempted to expand the line of contact and break through Ukrainian defenses toward Velykyi Burluk. In particular, a July 15th report by the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, stated that Russian so-called military bloggers claimed that occupying forces had allegedly advanced west and south of Mylov and had conducted attacks near Velykyi Burluk in the Mylov area. According to the analytical project Deep State, during the night of July 27th, Russian occupation forces made minor advances in certain areas of Kharkiv and Donetsk regions. Enemy movements were noted near Vovchansky Khutory in Kharkiv region, as well as near Yablunivka and Orakhovy in Donetsk region. At the same time, Russian forces have for months been trying to close in on Pokrovsk, a road and rail hub. President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Friday that Ukrainian forces were facing fierce fighting around the city of Pokrovsk in the east, a logistics hub near which Russia has been announcing the capture of villages on an almost daily basis. Zelensky, speaking in his nightly video address, said Ukraine's top commander, Alexander Syrsky, told a meeting of senior officials that the situation around Pokrovsk was the current focal point of its attention in the war, which began when Russia invaded in February 2022. All operational directions were covered, with particular focus on Pokrovsk. It receives the most attention, Zelensky said. Ukrainian forces, he said, were also continuing to act in border areas in the northern Sumy region, where Russian troops have gained a foothold in recent weeks. Syrsky, in a separate report on the Telegram messaging app, described Pokrovsk and 5 other sectors as among the most difficult theaters along the 1,000-kilometer, 620-mile front. However, the Russian Federation is paying the maximum price for attempting a summer offensive, Syrsky wrote. Russian forces have for months been trying to close in on Pokrovsk, a road and rail hub whose pre-war population of about 60,000 has been all but evacuated. Syrsky in May reported that Kyiv's troops had stabilized the situation around the town, also the site of the only colliery in Ukraine producing coking coal for the country's steel industry. Russia's defense ministry on Thursday announced the capture of 2 villages on either side of Pokrovsk, Zvirovy to the west and Novoekonomichne to the east. A third village near the city, Novotoretske, was declared by Moscow to be liberated earlier in the week. Ukrainian officials have made no acknowledgement that the villages have changed hands. The General Staff of Ukraine's military said in an evening report that 2 of them, Zvirove and Novoekonomichne, were in areas where Russian troops were trying to penetrate Ukrainian defenses. In Sumy region, where Russian troops are trying to establish what Kremlin leader Vladimir Putin calls a buffer zone, the popular Ukrainian military blog Deep State said Kyiv's forces had retaken a previously lost village. Deep State, which relies on open-source reports to track the presence of Russian forces, said Ukrainian troops had restored control over the village of Kindrativka. Ukrainian forces, AFU, engaged in 122 combat clashes with Russian forces, the General Staff reported via Facebook on Sunday, including combat in the Pokrovsk sector that neutralized more than 200 Russian troops. While Russian occupiers launched 2 missile strikes using 5 missiles, 53 airstrikes, dropping 71 guided bombs, and deployed 1,427 kamikaze drones. At the same time, Russia also conducted 4,327 shelling attacks on Ukrainian positions and populated areas, the Post said about Sunday's attacks. In the northern Slobozhenshina and Kursk sectors, 18 engagements were recorded, with 5 still ongoing. The enemy launched 9 airstrikes, 12 guided bombs, and 229 artillery attacks. In the southern Slobozhenshina sector, 4 enemy attacks were recorded near Vovchansk, Krasnopersh, Khortytsia, and Khortytsia. In the Kupiansk sector, 4 enemy attacks were recorded near Kindrashivka, Zeleny High, and toward Kupiansk, with 1 engagement still ongoing. In the Lyman sector, 17 Russian assaults were repelled near Kharkivka, Kolodyazy, Novye Mir, Rydkotub, Chandriholove, Torske, and toward Serbryanka, with 3 engagements ongoing. In the Siversk sector, 6 Russian attacks were recorded in the areas of Vyimka, Verkhnyo-Kamienske, Fedorivka, and Hrihorivka, with 3 engagements ongoing. In the Toretsk sector, 8 clashes were recorded today, with Russian attempts to storm Ukrainian positions near Delivka, Sherbinivka, Rusin Yar, Toretsk, and toward Katirnivka. 2 attacks are still underway. In the Pokrovsk sector, since the beginning of the day, Russian forces carried out 36 attacks near Poltavka, Udachny, Novokomichne, Lysivka, Zvierove, Novopavlivka, Orakove, Oleksivka, and toward Pokrovsk and Myrnorad. Ukrainian defenders repelled 34 assaults, with 2 engagements ongoing. Preliminary reports indicate that 209 Russian occupiers were neutralized in the Pokrovsk sector, including 130 soldiers killed in action. Ukrainian forces also destroyed 2 vehicles, 5 motorcycles, 3 artillery pieces, 14 UAVs, 3 UAV control antennas, and 2 UAV control points. Additionally, 3 vehicles, 2 artillery pieces, and 2 UAV antennas were damaged. In the Novopavlivka sector, Ukrainian troops repelled 10 attacks near Yalta, Mern, Tolstoy, Voskresenka, Malivka, Zelene Pol, Temirivka, and Novopil. 3 engagements are ongoing. Today we especially commend the 1st Separate Territorial Defense Brigade, named after Ivan Bohun, and the 406th Separate Artillery Brigade, named after General Alexei Almazov, who are effectively eliminating the enemy and inflicting substantial losses in personnel